A person transitions to another world where logging out has become impossible, but they've gained fantastical abilities. What's peculiar is that this new world is 500 years more advanced than their own. Follow the story of this young man named Shin until the end to uncover everything. Our episode today starts in this new anime with the elves and monsters, who have chosen among 7 unique types to create a large group of fighters capable of defeating powerful monsters and very dangerous dragons. These creatures have the ability to burn down entire villages. Additionally, this group can amass a great fortune and earn money through trade. Alternatively, they can become blacksmiths and craft legendary weapons. We'll talk about this new gateway that has turned into the game of death. Sarah's mortal, where logging out is impossible and deaths in the game become real-life deaths. The true hero, Shin, emerges fighting skeletal structures and splitting them in half with immense strength. He has sworn to himself to end this game, becoming stronger and stronger. The scene shifts to a dragon with horns, speaking to its master, questioning if they will truly leave or not. Then a man with green eyes and beautiful white hair speaks, hoping for a good fight when they meet again. The woman with blue eyes and white hair tells him to take care of himself, and Shin assures them he will return soon for another encounter. Shin leaves as we see him fighting the golden monster, which lands a powerful blow, but is dodged as Shin remarks on his speed despite his size, fitting for a true leader. He takes up his sword, striking the monster and severing its left wing. However, he's surprised to see the screen refreshes its life points. Shin gets angry, running at great speed and using a steel strike. He then flies upwards, slashing the monster with his massive sword, reducing its magical power and life points. But they regenerate again. In that moment, Shin uses the Moonlight Sword Dance, extending his sword's length to over 2 meters in front of him. He jumps up and strikes the monster's head, causing it to explode instantly. Finally, the gatekeeper named Origin is defeated, and a voice announces that the Demos Gate has been conquered. Players can now log out, signaling the end of the ordeal. Shin suggests making sure everyone can log out, taking out a magical paper to check who can log. To his surprise, the names disappear, indicating everyone has successfully logged out. Shin finds himself the last one standing before the screen fades, and just as he's about to log out, the gate reopens. He wakes up in another completely different world, a beautiful one, questioning if it's real or part of the game. Seeing his stats significantly improved, he wonders if it's due to recent achievements defeating the final boss. He tries to log out but realizes the option is gone. Opening the magical paper, it informs him he's not connected to the internet, meaning he's in a real world and not a game. Feeling lost, he lies down, contemplating his situation, unable to understand what to do next. Deciding he won't achieve anything by staying there, he leaves and finds an item that can lead him back home. Suddenly, he sees a bird flying and chases after it until it guides him to his house. Finally, he arrives at this place and wonders when this wall was built and what that castle is, as if this all belongs to one country. He's surprised to find that his house is still there, and as he approaches, he sees 3 people surrounding a girl. They warn her that they will use force if she refuses to give them information about something. Suddenly, a monster appears, and everyone except the girl runs away in fear. She collapses from fright, unable to control her nerves. When the monster attacks the girl, Shin arrives at the last moment and easily defeats it. He then moves his hand, remarking how incredibly real everything feels. They enter the house, and the girl named Tiara thanks him for saving her life. Shin introduces himself, and Tiara asks if he knows her teacher. Shin is surprised and asks who her teacher is. Tiara is shocked that he doesn't know Shini Razor, the owner of the Moon Shrine store, describing her as a beautiful elf with silver hair that reaches her waist and an amazing body. Shin thinks to himself, mentioning Shini Razor, and wonders if she's another person with the same name. Tiara, with her blue eyes and white hair, confirms that Shini Razor is indeed her supportive character. Shin realizes that if the Moon Shrine is real, then they are in reality, not in a game. Then Shin asks Tiara where the teacher is now, and she tells him that she can't easily share that information with him as we've just met, and those people were also looking for her. However, she can at least pass on what he wants through her work here, which involves taking care of the store and delivering messages to her teacher, with each message costing 1,000 jewels. Shin is surprised by this large amount since he only has 1 jewel. He takes out this 1 jewel from his belongings, astonishing Tiara because he took out this currency from an antique items box. She wonders what's special about this to him, and Shin explains, much to her astonishment, that only a very few kings and nobles of certain types can do this. Not just that, but golden generation coins are used to enhance magic and are worth at least 10 billion jewels each. Shin is very shocked by this huge amount, thinking to himself that generation coins used to be smaller denominations in the game. The girl asks who he really is, and Shin tells her he's just an ordinary adventurer, and his type is a poison human. She is shocked because all poison humans are extinct, and Shin is very surprised when she says they're extinct, asking if she means humanity is extinct. She explains that only poison humans are extinct, and the ones he just saw were humans, not poison humans. They were normal. In the past, there were only 6 poison humans, and they disappeared during the Twilight of Prosperity 500 years ago. Shin is astonished by this Twilight of Prosperity. Tiara tells him she doesn't know much about it. It was a significant historical event when poison humans and many others disappeared. Shin wonders if it's possible that many people vanished, recalling when he defeated the last gatekeeper, which would have involved tens of thousands of players at that time, making it a significant event if all those people suddenly disappeared. The simplest explanation would be that they're in a point in time 500 years after the game's events. Shin expresses deep gratitude for this information and takes the coin again, asking her to keep it and informing her that he looks forward to getting to know her better. However, the girl wishes to keep the coin, so Shin gives it to her, and she's overjoyed as she had dreamed of holding a golden generation coin. Shin tells her that since elves can use magic, it will be very useful for her. The girl is astonished by the term elf and asks if she looks like one in his eyes. Shin confirms, saying that she's a beautiful elf with black hair and golden eyes, stunning the girl because she had asked her teacher to cast a spell on her to look like one. And they believe that black-haired elves were a cursed symbol of bad luck. Shin is very surprised by this revelation and learns that black hair unfortunately brings bad luck. Monsters started attacking frequently, leading to her expulsion from the village. Her teacher saved her then, and there's a barrier around the store that her teacher uses magic to hide her identity. She has lived safely for 100 years. Shin realizes they were attacked recently due to that curse and asks if there's a way to remove it. The girl tells him her teacher is researching it, but for now, she's okay with it as she can live without bothering anyone. Shin asks if her hair has always been black, and she says no, it used to be silver until one day it suddenly turned black due to a curse. He wonders which curse could change hair color instantly, and hastily tells her he remembered something important. Bringing up his screen and realizing he forgot something crucial, he opens his skills screen and starts analyzing the curse, informing her that she carries the cursed title called Cursed Gift, which caused her hair color to change to black and attracted monsters to attack her. It's a random curse. The girl says that knowing about the curse alone won't fix it, so there's no use in that. Shin reassures her and tells her there's a way to remove her curse. He then casts a spell on her, and she glows intensely from the magic. However, after the spell, nothing changes in her appearance. Shin informs her that the purification was successful, but only a part of her hair returned to its natural state. The girl is very thankful and expresses her gratitude. Then she told him, "This is excellent and better than before. My hair has returned, which I haven't seen in 100 years, but I don't feel like the curse has truly been lifted." Shin asked her why she didn't try leaving the barrier. He assured her that any monster appeared, he would defeat it, and she had waited for 100 years, but she would be safe. They then exited the barrier and walked into the forest. Shin remarked that nothing happened to her, indicating that the curse was lifted. Tiara, with tears in her eyes, said that the sky is vast. After that, they returned to the house, and Shin told her, "I'm glad I could help you." Tiara thanked him, saying, "What will you do now? My teacher won't return for a while." He informed her that he would explore the town to learn more about this world. Shin thought to himself that if her teacher was indeed Shini, then surely the rest of his supporting characters were also present. Tiara instructed him to take a recommendation letter with him if he was going to the kingdom of Paralek. She handed him the letter, explaining that there is a checkpoint when entering the kingdom, but this letter would allow him to bypass it. Shin thanked her, saying, "But I am confident in your willingness to give this letter to someone worthy whom you will meet today." She replied, "I have removed my curse, and you seem competent, as well as kind to the point of foolishness. There are no words of thanks enough for what you've done." Then Shin left, and Tiara said she would inform him as soon as her teacher returned. Later, we see Shin in town talking to himself, saying he can't believe he can avoid the line thanks to the recommendation letter. Then someone tells him, "This man is like an introduction document. It can secure you an audience with the king in this kingdom. Make sure not to lose it." Shin is surprised and asks, "Are you serious?" He goes to the Adventurers Guild, saying he's starting here to gather information. Inside, the secretary asks him, "How can I help you?" Shin says he wants to register as an adventurer. She tells him to check the request in the other office. Shin goes to the other office and sees the same girl from the first floor, surprised. He asks if she's the woman from the first floor. She tells him she's her twin sister, Celica. "If you want to register as an adventurer, you must pay the registration fee and fill out this form," she says. Shin can't believe that getting a guild card takes a whole day. Their equipment is less advanced than in the game, made of leather and iron. Celica appears and gives him food, but he's surprised to see her in the restaurant. She explains she helps out when she's not busy. Shin tastes the food and is impressed. Celica looks at him, and Shin says he can't eat like this. She apologizes and says there's something she wants to check regarding him, mentioning the recommendation letter from the Moon Shrine. She wants to verify its authenticity in another room. Shin agrees, but says he doesn't want to meet the guild leader immediately after arriving there. Then Celica tells him that he's behind him, surprising Shin as he looks behind to find the guild leader. They sit together in the office and the leader introduces himself as Barlock's Heim. He asks Shin to get to the point and inquire if he can see his Moon Shrine recommendation letter. Shin places his letter next to the leader's and they both emit a glow. Shin is very surprised, and the leader explains that when their recommendation letters are put together, they light up, indicating the authenticity of Shin's letter. The leader then asks who gave him that letter, Shini or Tiara. Shin informs him that Tiara gave him the letter. The leader laughs and remarks that something significant must have happened for Shin to forget to explain that. He starts explaining to Shin that the recommendation letter will allow him to enter most countries without inspection, accepted by any guild. In some countries like Berylite, it might secure him an audience with the king as it's the most trusted form of identification. Shin is amazed by the benefits of this document and wishes to become very famous through it. The leader continues, warning Shin that someone might try to steal the document for nefarious reasons. If Shin can't protect it, he should destroy it before anyone gets hold of it. Shin assures him of Tiara's trust in him and promises to protect the document, earning the leader's trust. The leader extends his hand for a handshake, expressing his confidence in Shin and encourages him to look forward to what he can achieve. The scene then shifts to Shin in his room, exhausted and thinking about raising his rank after getting his guild card, wondering when Shini will return. In the morning, he wakes up, realizing he's unfortunately not in the real world. The scene shifts back to the guild where Shin meets Celica, who asks if he slept well. Shin thanks her for finding him a good hotel and compliments her on the quality of his new clothes, making it easy to move around. Celica hands him his guild card, explaining the 9 adventurer ranks, starting from SS A, B, Z, and upwards based on points earned from completing missions, allowing for rank advancement and access to higher-ranking tasks. Shin tells Celica that he has a task he wants to do first and hands her a paper to read. Celica reads it, and the task is to harvest helk grass, as it's always in demand for potion doses, so there's no time limit. Shin bids her farewell and leaves. Celica remarks that Mr. Barlock's admitted to Shin's skills, but doesn't seem like a lofty person at all. He's very strange. The scene shifts to the forest, where Shin talks to himself, saying he searched for 3 hours even in the game to harvest helk grass, thinking it would be easy because all the monsters were weak enough for lower-rank adventurers to defeat. Suddenly, an electronic screen appears, showing a monster's location, but with a strange movement. Shin is surprised by this. He starts searching for the monster and suddenly sees a very large monster, Scalvus Jack, with a level of 300. He also sees a broken carriage where the monster attacked them, explaining its strange movement on the electronic screen. Shin remembers a man saying that people were killed due to Scalvus Jack's attacks. Back to reality, Shin decides to do something to stop the monster from killing more people and decides to attack it. He draws his sword, approaches the monster, and starts directing several strikes at it, but it deflects them all because it's very fast. Shin comments that he's never heard of a dead-alive monster wielding a sword like that, so it must be a unique creature. He continues striking the monster, but it shows no significant damage. Shin then notices cracks on his sword from the strikes. He decides to try something else and uses a disabling spell on the edge and delivers a very powerful blow to the monster, breaking its armor, causing it to fall and sending its sword flying into the air. Shin looks at the sword and wishes he had obtained it. The monster lets out a scream of anger, but it's clear that those strikes didn't do enough damage. Then, the monster emits smoke and disappears, leaving behind a precious stone. Shin approaches it, picks it up and says, "If the real game is here, then this is getting interesting." We then see the monster's sword flying and entering the palace through a window. The guard and the girl, Osor, stand there, extremely surprised by this event. And that concludes our episode for today from this wonderful anime. To continue watching more episodes, please subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell.